Okay, so I want to put out a reality out there, okay? We are outmaneuvered. Now it's about survival, it's about adaptation, it's about making sure your kids survive all of these draconian situations. It's not going to be horrible forever. Right now, we're going through a major change, a major terraforming in body, mind, and spirit, as well as geography. And I'm trying to give you guys some strategy to figure it out. Okay? Um, I remember in the conspiracy community, off-gridding was one of the strategies to see if they can escape the mainstream society. Well, you understand that the architects of our society and the architects of this whole demolition and bringing in a new world knows about the off-gridders. And so obviously they can't just go in and force you off the land if you have rightfully purchased land and you have a trailer and you have all these different things. Okay, yeah, eminent domain, they're not going to offer you money for your land because you're not going to want to take the money and go somewhere inland. So this is why they have the directed energy weapons. This is why they have the control of the weather, because the weather is going to move people. Okay, floods, different anomalous conditions in your environment is going to force you to find and seek shelter and help from those that are creating these scenarios. Okay? What's going on in Louisiana? All right. So at this point, with those hurricanes that are devastating, okay, some people are going to leave forever. Some people already left Paradise, California forever. And so eventually what they're trying to do is they're trying to get people off that land, out of that area over time. Because how many of these natural disasters are you going to be withstanding? And they're really not natural. Okay? When there is a major storm in your area and they flood out your garden. Okay? The thing is no matter what, you will be able to survive the processed food supply. You'll be able to survive the whatever it is that's available to you in the supermarket. Okay? The whole thing with the jelly juice is understanding. It's understanding. Let me see something here. That you'll be able to handle the minerals. You'll be able to handle all of the different antibody inducing type of stuff. You'll be able to handle basically everything. You don't need to play discrimination in the food supply or anything. Okay? And so I'm just trying to give you strategies on surviving all of this because you're going to have to. You're going to have to. And I'm just looking at some stuff real quick. And so the whole thing with the jelly juice will give you the ability to adapt to a smart grid because they're not going to just like not give you salt. You need salt to live. The architects of our society know that salt is needed. So you're always going to have access to salt. You're always going to have access to cabbage or kale or cruciferous vegetables. You will always have access to that. Even if it's genetically modified, you'll still derive nutritional benefit because you need food. Okay, those that discriminate against food, those that that say that okay, well you can only breastfeed, you can't do the soy formula, you'll still be able to survive the soy formula too. Let's say they do take away your baby for 5 weeks to where your milk dries up and they give you some kind of formula. Your baby will survive it if you understand the jelly juice. Your children will survive any type of edible food that is approved by the FDA. Okay? And so this is why you have to understand that there's nothing to fight out there as long as you know how to fight at the micro level. But you're going to need, if you live off grid, you're going to need meat, you're going to need milk, you're going to need all the different minerals. You just can't live off your crops. Even if you do live off your crops, you're going to need a more diverse food supply. And when you have inclement weather coming in and destroying your crops, when you have natural disasters that come in and destroy your land, fires, floods, earthquakes, the reservoirs or the what is it? The dams bursting. That's also a possibility. So you should be able to, no matter where you go, with nothing, with no, preserved food that you have in your cabinet, you should be able to go to any community that has minerals, that has salt, that has cabbage and jars and water and climate control. You should be able to survive in any situation you're put in. And that's the whole point of Jilly Juice, is to be able to survive no matter where you are being moved to. Okay, no matter what socioeconomic status you are in, if you live next to Walmart in a one-bedroom, apartment, or a hotel with one refrigerator, just get some jars, get some salt, get some cabbage, maybe a blender or a knife. And even the person with the most squalid conditions, as long as they're able to be somewhere relatively warm, okay, where you can turn up the heat to have it to at least be 65 to 72 degrees or hotter, you'll be able to ferment and survive. And maybe, you can, if you need to go and kill some rats, you'll be able to survive. Sugar, baby, sugar. You'll be able to survive those conditions and still clean your gut. And so that's the thing with the whole thing with the Jade Juice, is you'll be able to survive any situation. If you put in a smart city, in a hotel room, and then you get access to salt, okay? It's not about trying to get away from society, because you can't get away. If you're on Facebook, you're dialed in. And even those that are not on Facebook, that have left whatever, they're still subject to the conditions, and the architects know this. They know how many dissidents that are out there. They know how many people that are trying to buck the system are out there. They know. They already have you psychologically figured out. Now you have to be smarter than the system. You have to survive all of this. Okay? But, I was thinking about, well, we got to go off grid. I remember back when I was, looking at all the different conspiracy stuff, we got to go off grid, do this. They have heat-seeking stuff. Okay, even if you go to have your own little community, you're just reinventing the wheel. People are like, oh yeah, we got to have our own little community. You know how many times they've done that back in the 1960s with all these Jim Jones and the purple sneakers, the Kool-Aid people, the communes way back in the night. They've already done everything that you think you're doing. Your children need to know how to adapt to a society that is going to be very aggressive, and they have to adapt at the micro level. Just simply leaving society is not the answer. Just simply thinking you're going to live off grid is not the answer. What the answer is to understand how to adapt to all situations at the micro level. To be able to be mobile. So let's say, there is a major earthquake or flood in my area, and my salt's wiped out, everything's wiped out. Eventually there's going to be some stability. I'm going to be moved to another situation where they're going to offer salt. They're going to offer, certain kind of food. They're going to offer, pepper, water, and then I'll get into a stable situation. I'll get some jars. Just imagine when your whole household is wiped away. How do you start again? You got to find the salt, you got to find jars, you got to find clean water, and you got to find cabbage. That's really, and then some meat to give you some, amino acids and fatty acids and prohormones and minerals. That's how you have to think. Okay? So just imagine, if you want to survive everything, imagine when everything in your household is wiped away. When you don't have preserved food, you don't have all your creature comforts, you don't even have your salt. You have nothing. Where you start from square zero, from square one. And that is the ultimate survival, where you can be put in a smart city where they're giving you a little room on top of other little rooms. Here's your job. You're going to code for 8 hours a day on a computer, socially distanced. We'll give you access to food. You do your job. We'll give you little chits to buy your food. You buy a bunch of salt because you want it for your food. You get some cabbage and kale or whatever. You get some jars, you get some water, and you're fermenting in your little one bedroom. And you're eating whatever, incognito or whatever, because they're going to have bioengineered meat out there at some point. But you'll still get what you need. You need the fats, you need the what is it? The amino acids, fatty acids, amino acid, prohormones, and minerals. You're going to be part of a microbiome of viruses, parasites, protozoa, proteins, and fungus and bacteria. Okay, you need access to all of that. The architects know this. All you got to do is get some jars, some water, and a little bit of sunlight and climate control, and you can live anywhere. But I don't want you to be fooled into thinking that living off grid is going to be the answer when they know this. They know that the off grid community groups are out there. Facebook knows this. Facebook's part of the architects, and they know exactly your reactions. And the more you resist, the more they're going to come down harder and beat you at your own game. So now you have to be smarter than the game. You have to be adaptable. The more you resist, the more it's going to persist. Now you just have to release the excess antibodies and rebuild at the micro level. Good luck. All right, bye.